A can of food on your shelf could outlast the person who bought it. Sealed inside, a meal can wait years, even decades, and never spoil. No fridge, no freezer, no magic. That is the quiet wonder behind how canned food is made, and it hides some of the most interesting facts in your kitchen. Because the trick that stops time uses no glue, no chemicals, just a fold of metal. The story starts with a hungry army. Soldiers on the march were starving, their food rotting before it reached them. A government offered a cash prize to anyone who could keep food from spoiling. A French cook took up the challenge. He packed food into glass jars, sealed them tight, and boiled them for hours. It worked. The food stayed good for months, and he claimed the prize. The reward was a fortune for its day. Behind it stood one brutal problem: feeding hungry soldiers far from home. But here is the strange part. He had no idea why it worked. Nobody knew bacteria existed yet. The microbes that rot food would not be discovered for another half a century. So he had defeated an invisible enemy, without knowing it was even there. He simply saw that sealing and heating worked. Soon glass gave way to metal. An Englishman patented a canister made of tin-coated steel. Metal would not shatter. It could be dropped, stacked, and hurled onto a ship. The tin can was born. Cans soon went everywhere. They marched with armies and sailed on ships bound for the frozen poles. For the first time, a meal could travel the world and simply wait. And now comes a detail that sounds impossible. For nearly 50 years, cans had no can opener. The opener simply had not been invented. Early cans were thick and brutal, sealed to survive anything. Soldiers hacked them open with knives, bayonets, even rocks. One early label reportedly advised cutting the lid with a hammer and chisel. I always get curious about where a viewer is sitting. A kitchen in Canada, a tiny shop in Vietnam, a farmhouse somewhere in Kenya. Canned food travels to nearly every corner of the planet, so tell me which country you are watching from. The country, not the city. Now, back to the factory. Step into a modern chem plant, and the speed is dizzying. Huge coils of steel are unrolled, thinner than a coin. The metal is coated with a whisper of tin, a shield against rust. Inside, many cans get a second, unseen coat, a fine lacquer, thinner than a hair, that keeps sharp, acidic foods from tasting of metal. Machines cut and curl the metal into bodies at blinding speed. A single line can spit out cans faster than you can count. Each body is rolled into a tube, and its seam welded shut in a flash. A metal end is fixed on below, leaving one open mouth, waiting to be filled. Then the food pours in: vegetables, fish, soup, whatever the can will hold. The filling time is timed to the split second. Machines drop an exact weight into each can as it races past. Hundreds every minute, never spilling a drop. A hot liquid is often added on top, brine or water or oil. It fills the gaps and pushes out trapped air. Air is the enemy here. The less oxygen sealed inside, the safer the food will be. And sealing does more than block air. It traps the goodness in. Vegetables canned within hours of the harvest can hold their vitamins better than tired produce shipped across the world. So here is your choice: fish packed in plain water or fish packed in rich oil. One word: water or oil. Write it below. Now the most important moment arrives: sealing the lid. The lid is not glued on. It is not soldered. Rollers fold the edge of the lid and the body together. They curl into each other, metal hooked inside metal, pressed into a tight double fold. This locking ring is called the double seam. No adhesive, no melting, just two lips of steel rolled into one airtight grip. That fold alone keeps the world out for years. but the food is still raw and still full of life. The sealed cans ride into a giant pressure cooker called a retort. There they are, cooked far hotter than boiling water. The giant cooker often tumbles the cans as it heats, rolling them so the scorching heat reaches every last center. That blast does a double job. It wipes out the microbes and cooks the meal inside at the very same time. Ordinary boiling is not enough. Some microbe spores shrug off boiling water completely. Only fierce, pressurized heat can destroy them. Strangely, sour foods need less of that heat. Tomatoes and fruit are acidic, and that acid holds the worst germs back. Beans and meat have no such shield, so they take the fiercest cook of all. One of those survivors is the deadliest of all. It causes botulism, a poison that can kill. That is why the heat and pressure are watched like a hawk. Get it wrong, and a sealed can becomes dangerous. Get it right, and every living thing inside is destroyed. This is why filling a can at home is risky. Your kitchen pot never reaches that killing heat. The factory can, and that gap is the whole difference. Then the cans cool, and something quietly clever happens. As the hot contents shrink, they pull the lid slightly inward. A vacuum forms inside the sealed can. That vacuum is your safety guard. It sucks the lid into a faint dome, curved inward. Press the center of a fresh can, and it should not move. But if that lid ever bulges outward, beware. A swollen can means gas, and gas means bacteria are alive inside. The can is warning you not to open it. So the can does not just hold food. It reports on its own health. That trapped vacuum is why a good can hisses when you open it. You are hearing air rush in for the very first time in years. Only at the end does the can get its face. A printed label is wrapped and glued around the bare metal. And now the strange paradox at the heart of it all. To keep the food alive on your shelf, the factory first cooks it to death. Every microbe inside is wiped out. The food is sealed in a sterile metal tomb, cut off from the world. Nothing lives in there, and nothing can get in. That emptiness is the secret. Rot needs living microbes, and inside a good can, there are none. Which brings us to the most astonishing part of all. Cans have been pulled from century-old shipwrecks, buried in mud since long before your grandparents were born. Scientists opened them, expecting rot. Instead, they found food still free of spoilage, more than 100 years later. Think about that. A meal sealed before electric light was common, opened in the modern age, and still not rotten. The flavor and vitamins had faded, yes, but the food had not decayed, because nothing was left alive to decay it. That is the quiet miracle of a can. It does not fight decay with chemicals or cold. It simply removes every living thing, then locks the door behind them. Inside that can, time had all but stopped, a sealed, silent world where the clock barely ticks. And all of it held shut by that humble fold of steel. No lock, no glue, no power, just metal curled into metal. And when the can is finally empty, nothing is wasted. A magnet plucks the steel from the trash, and it melts into a brand new can, over and over. Look at the whole impossible trick in a single can. Steel rolled thin, dressed in tin, filled and flushed of air. Sealed with a fold instead of glue. Cooked past boiling until nothing living remains, then left to guard its cargo for a lifetime. A can is not really a container. It is a tiny sealed world where time has been switched off. I still cannot get my head around one of these. Food sank in a shipwreck, waited a century in the dark, and came up still safe to eat. Which fact surprised you the most?